I'm Kaylin.
I'm Olivia.
And I'm Jackie.
And welcome to the Secret Superstar Society, episode 4.
Yeah. What is Secret Superstar Society?
Secret Superstar Society is a podcast and community for creative geniuses.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes these creative geniuses are secret and they're struggling, and we are working together to be creative, even when it's hard or we don't want to be or we feel weird about it.
Or we don't even know that we have anything to give.
Yeah. So that's why we're doing this. And my dad had a lot of notes on the last episode. A lot of episodes. My dad had a lot of notes on the last episode, so we're going to use some of them, which is telling you what we're doing on this episode.
Yeah. So, generally speaking, the structure for our episodes is as follows. We introduce ourselves. We talk about our weeks. And then we go into doing the activity. And then after we do our activity live, we discuss how the activity went and also the submissions that we got from the audience.
Yeah.
And then we introduce the next activity, and that's kind of the whole thing.
Yeah, because always in the previous episode, we've assigned an activity for the listeners to do and to send to us before we then record and do that activity.
Got it?
Capiche?
Great.
Easy.
Move on.
Move on.
Moving on.
Okay.
So what's going on in Olivia land? Give me the headline.
This is scary.
Sorry.
Right now I feel really hot. But
I know. I was going to say my palms are really sweaty.
I know, and I was feeling a little
Knees
cold
weak,
before.
arms are heavy. Vomit on his sweaty
already. Once I took a
spaghetti.
screenwriting class in college, and I just like completely biffed it. Like I just couldn't do it. Didn't have one single idea to put on the paper, and we had to turn in like 20 to 40 pages of a screenplay, and I filled pages with just a group of girls singing that song. It was so, and then we all workshopped
on
it,
the sweat
and everybody
already.
was like,
"Mom, spaghetti." He's nervous.
everybody was like, "Yeah, one note. You don't need to have the whole Eminem song."
Well, but it's integral to the plot.
No, it wasn't, and because there was no plot
Yeah.
for it to be integral to.
Relatable.
If it's 8 Mile, then it's integral.
Yeah, and the movie I was writing was 8
Was
Mile.
8 Mile.
And I won an Oscar.
Congratulations.
Olivia Land is okay. Basically, I've been depressed. Basically, what we're gonna do is be depressed. Not so depressed. Not as depressed as I've been in the past, but what can you do? And so I've been really combating my depression. I think I might have to go back on meds, but jury's out on that. And had a breakthrough in therapy about as follows. Well, we were talking about kids before this started and whether or not we want to have kids. Not to blow up your spot. Anybody? I don't know who I was talking about that with. Just kidding. I do know. It was you guys.
It's okay. It's really okay.
And was talking to my therapist about it, and basically, like, the thing is, I'm like there's a million huge life tasks that I haven't done. Like, for example,
Like what?
registering my car. I've lived in Los Angeles for 6 years. I have paper license plates from Virginia.
Yeah, that's always concerned me about
that
you.
expired
Very
in
much
2020.
Easy to do relatively, though.
I mean, I don't think you like that's
Not
the,
fun.
that's
would
the
think.
barrier to entry for having a kid. You can fix that real quick.
Well, it's just like there's many things like that. I haven't been to the dentist since 2019. I haven't been to the doctor in years. I have a lot of moles that I think need to be checked out. There's just like basic responsibility things that I'm not doing. I can basically get my cat to the vet.
That's huge.
Sort of the end of list.
That's the most maternal thing you could do.
Yeah. And
I mean-
so the realization
I was going to say, just like, you know, if you're not taking yourself to the doctor and you're taking your cat to the vet, I think already you're in a pretty good position to be taking care of something else. However, it's kind of like the oxygen mask
yeah.
thing. where like you should probably also go to the doctor.
And so I also forget to give my cat her flea medication sometimes.
well,
so
that's reprehensible.
yes, it's bad. I shouldn't be taking care
She's
of
an
anything.
indoor cat, dude. She doesn't need flea medicine.
You're crazy. You don't understand the situation at my house.
No, you're
We
right.
had a flea infestation bad
How?
a few summers ago. Bad. We get bugs going into my house all the time. We had exterminators come and exterminate all the cockroaches in my house, and now cockroaches are coming back. Baby cockroaches.
to eat the fleas.
Oh.
No, we've
The
just
little ones?
bugs get in my fucking house.
They're not babies. They're German. Do you know this?
Sorry, they're not babies. They're German.
And you can quote me on that.
Okay, I think.
And what do you mean by that?
You know
honey?
that game, Gay or European?
It's not a
It's
game.
like baby or German.
It's a line from a film.
I lived very closely with German cockroaches for 4 or 5 years. They look like
In
babies.
Germany?
No.
Well, then you're gonna have to.
Let me explain.
Okay.
German cockroaches are like a breed, a genre,
A species,
if
you will.
a subspecies of cockroach, and they are petite, and they are the worst kind you can get.
They're the ones.
What do you
with
mean they're the worst kind you can get?
You can't fucking get rid of them.
They're the ones with the very articulated abdomens. Yes.
They're very articulate.
They're the really articulate ones. They're the very well spoken.
I said articulated abdomen, which if you had ever taken a Pilates class, you would understand what I meant by that.
Well, I've taken
Well,
one.
not all of us can afford Pilates classes.
Well, I go to a cult.
Well, I've taken one, and I didn't understand anything she was saying to me.
Yeah, it's really tough sometimes.
You exchange your freedom for your Pilates classes
Well, you know,
Any-
you gotta make compromises where you can.
in this economy.
Anyway, so I don't know if I'm ready to have a baby. And anyway, the conversation was ultimately about how I feel like I've achieved this like one level of like self-esteem where I'm like myself and I can be kind to myself.
Good for you.
But I haven't, brag, I haven't reached the level of self-esteem where I can do major esteemable acts like necessary adult things that like make me mature. And I think for various reasons having to do with like whatever, my upbringing or not, no offense to anybody, I think I was like, there's this feeling I have of just like complete like kind of vagueness and ineffectualness in my life. And it's like, I'm always sort of like, well, when I get a partner, they'll be responsible and they'll deal with that for me. But
It's not how it works.
not how it works. And by the way, wouldn't know. Nobody is interested in that so far.
Oh my, cry me.
plenty of people
Are
are
you
interested.
kidding me? Like they're all interested, girl. You got
Exactly.
lots of
They're
calls
not-
coming in. They're just not worthy.
Well,
Exactly.
whatever. Some of them, I also have a lot of calls, like people hanging up. Whatever, regardless. I don't have a partner. Haven't had one for many, many years. And I am not going to get one soon, so I should probably get my car registered.
I would say that's a good first
I think
step.
that is a good takeaway.
Yeah. Kylie, my week. So not much to report. I have also been pretty depressed, but like not again, like Olivia was saying, like not as depressed as I have been in the past. Not suicidal. So look, it's a win. But woo. But at the same time, I think it's complicated because I do feel like sometimes I have like two modes, and I think maybe there are definitely more modes than two, but I just like register two and they're extremes. So like feeling very grateful, joyous, hopeful, and then my other mode and like calm.
Calma.
And then my other mode is just kind of like completely sapped of energy, tired, all like kind of like misanthrope vibes. Like I'm just like, everyone sucks and I don't want to go anywhere and I don't want to interact with other people and I just want to stay home and be bored and sad. And I kind of have been feeling like that this week. And I never like feeling like that. Like it feels bad.
That's weird that you don't like feeling that way.
Yeah, I know it is super weird of me, but I actually, like even though I will stay home and I'll get like a lot of reading done or I'll clean my house or something productive, I'm always just like, it just makes me feel bad. I think it's worth noting that like everything going on in our country right now is extremely
Horrific.
And I've been fucking outraged. And I want to just say this right now. And I think it's going to come back in once we do our activity, and it's going to be a major theme of the episode. But I do think that for me personally, rage and being pissed off is such an uncomfortable emotion for me to embody. I would so much rather any day of the week go into sadness and despair, because that feels comfortable for me. And I think like as women, we are told that that is the acceptable emotion for us to feel, rather than rage and anger and righteousness and, you know, etc. And so I don't embody rage easily. It's incredibly uncomfortable for me. And I mainly want to internalize it rather than externalize, and just take it out on myself. So that I don't hurt anybody else with the rage. I just hurt me. And so when I feel like this, I'm obviously not really okay. And it makes for a really shitty week. And I feel very judgmental of myself and other people when I feel like this, and was proven wrong.
Oh yeah.
Last night when I was just kind of like, I don't want to go out. I was invited to go out with some coworkers, and I was just like, I don't want to go. Like, I don't want to talk to other people. I don't want to be around other people. Like, I'm just tired. I want to go home. I don't want to move. And then I went out and I had like
it was so
a really
fun.
fantastic time. So that just goes to show you that like, you got to push back against your instincts sometimes. And I think like more often than not, it feels maybe like emotionally draining to go be with other people. But really, I think that like 90% of the time we get energy from that rather than we lose energy from that.
I also think you can do all the therapy you want, and if you're not also doing something fun, you won't be happy.
So true.
Very true.
It's one of my big philosophies of
that's very you.
recovery. I always say that when I do my shares in meetings. I'm like, I can't do this program if I don't have joy in it.
Fun and joy are so essential.
I legit can't do one single thing if it's not fun. It's actually like a problem. That's why I don't have my car registered.
I can. And I've not had fun for really long periods of time. And let me tell you, it sucks.
I'm too good at that, at not having fun. I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum.
I'm in the middle, as always. Fucking
not
middle
so true.
child.
That's not true. You're not always in the middle.
No, you guys are the extremes, and I'm like the.
That's not true.
I'm the middle of the road.
It depends. Depends on the thing.
Always, God. Okay.
Dead. Jacqueline, what about you?
Well, I shouldn't do the accent.
Who
the whole
are you?
Time. Okay, I'll stop now.
Who are you? What have you done with Jackie?
I will be me now. I watched Girls in its entirety.
Jackie.
What?
You didn't tell me you were watching Girls?
I didn't know you cared.
It's like my favorite show ever.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm so happy. Can
And
we
I
talk
know
about it
Lena
for a sec?
Dunham, blah, blah, blah.
I know
We've
you
talked
have a
about
real
this,
issue
but
with
it's
Lena, and I'm sure that's valid for a lot of reasons. This was my first time watching it in like 10 years, and I just felt so completely different about it than I did when I first watched it. I was just like, this is so funny and smart and well written, and it's so like alive and authentic, and all the characters are super unique and
well acted.
It made me like really, 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 really like painfully nostalgic for when I lived in New York and was like young and wild and free. And I just, for the past like 2 weeks, Charles, my boyfriend, always falls asleep before me as we're like watching TV in bed. And so when he would go to sleep, I would put on Girls, and I would watch like 2 or 3 episodes of Girls. And it's also all about like following your creative dreams, you know? So
And
like,
how hard that is.
And how hard it is. And like, it was interesting watching like the Hannah character, especially like be like, I'm a writer. And then very easily kind of and quickly get knocked off of that path and be like, I'm just going to teach, and I'm not a writer anymore for a couple years. And then back with a vengeance too. I'm a writer.
Yeah.
It was like really relatable. Anyway, it just was like a really nostalgic, emotional journey that I went on.
Love it.
After 10 p.m. Yeah.
I love a 10 p.m. nostalgia journey.
Yeah.
That's all fab. Okay. Time for our activity.
Yeah.
Anything else to say?
No?
So the activity that we assigned last episode was drawing your feelings with your non-dominant hand. And
Yeah. And the point was to kind of set a timer for 5 minutes. And when we limit our resources, like when we give ourselves a time limit, or when we limit ourselves to the use of like the hand that we don't usually use, or we limit ourselves in terms of materials, we force our brains to get more creative, and we express more from the id than we do from the ego, which is really interesting. I was doing this activity a lot with my students this week because I teach a lot of the same stuff that we do on this podcast to my kids at school. And it was fascinating, like how much this can be if you just kind of follow the parameters and the limitations. This can be like a perfectionist buster. Mm-hmm. So let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Vibes. 5 minutes with your non-dominant hand. Choose 3 emotions you've been feeling lately, and then illustrate them using like whatever fun materials you have around. Simple kid stuff. Yeah. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy.
So y'all sent us a bunch. Thank you so much.
You.
So we're going to go do it now, and then we'll be back.
Yeah. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. We're back.
We're back. Jackie.
Yes?
Share.
What?
What?
Me? Okay.
You like me.
You really like me. Hi, my name is Daniel, and I like to do drawings.
Okay. Jackie, do you want to share your picture?
Do you know that? Okay, obviously you don't know what that is, and I'm not going to explain it.
Okay, great.
Somebody out there will know. Okay, this is my drawing.
And if you are listening, we will be superimposing this like picture of it on the video, and you can look at the video or you can look at our Instagram, but we know that Instagram is bad, but we're figuring it out. So yeah, if you want to see the picture, you can see it.
Okay, now shut the F up. I want to hear about this art.
Okay, so the black squiggly big lines are like, the word I went with was overwhelm, but it encompasses a lot, like rage, despair, anxiety. And for me, it's like, it also is interesting. Well, okay. So that's about like, obviously the state of the world and just how it just kind of hits you over the head every day, the state of our country specifically.
Yeah.
And I kind of was trying to show like almost like a cage descending down
Cool.
thing, because it does kind of feel like this. And I wasn't trying to do that shape, but I realized afterwards that that's kind of what it was becoming, and that felt accurate as this kind of like iron cage descending down over everything. And then the like kind of salmony beige and chartreuse yellow squiggles that are like intermixed with those. Honestly, I put those in there consciously because I was like, black isn't totally the right color for this overwhelm feeling always. And sometimes there's like disgust involved.
Yeah.
And like just feeling gross. Like, I don't know, I was thinking of like so many days this week where like I, just first thing in the morning, checked the news, checked Reddit, checked Instagram, and just like got just flooded with all these horrible feelings.
An aside, can I just say that like this is not normal for me as a person who really only has like one social media account, which is Instagram. I have been going on Instagram almost like before I get out of bed, like the minute that I wake up every morning this week. And it makes me upset.
It's like sickening.
It colors the whole day.
Let me tell you something. All love, you guys gotta stop doing that.
I know.
Well, I don't usually do it.
Yeah,
but
often I don't. But there was one morning in particular this week where I the reason it's all out of anxiety kind of too,
Exactly.
And like, I also will like stick a podcast in my ear first thing in the morning because I'm like, let me drown everything out right away while I have my golden milk latte. And And then I will like, Charles will try to like talk to me and I'm just like, ugh, like I'm just like
shut up, man. I'm in my educational zone.
Yeah. Cause you're also like, well, it makes you feel like you can do something. If you're like, let me absorb all this information.
Exactly.
And then it's like,
yeah, but I also immediately am like, what the fuck did I just do to myself? Like I just woke up and I feel just horrific and like so frazzled and splintered and like overwhelmed. So that's that. And then there's this light blue line that starts at the left upper corner and then kind of slopes downward to the bottom right corner. Mm-hmm. And that was relief, actually, but for like totally personal reasons, not to do with like the world. And so it's interesting that they kind of wind up looking like that they're behind or underneath the big black overwhelm doom
They
squiggles.
definitely look like they're layered underneath. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did draw that first. I think the relief was the first thing I drew. And that's about, I just had like a big, I don't know, turning point in my mind this week where I was just like, I've been trying really hard to like grow a private practice and it's just really slow and too slow. And it's causing me like so much anxiety, so much financial fear. And I've just been kind of white knuckling it and being like, no. If I just like do this kind of marketing, if I just do this angle or whatever, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I finally was like, I just like have to get a job. Like I have to get a part-time job at least right now to do therapy work, which like I more and more am feeling the need to do for like the community, you know? Even though I have to deal with the job application process, which is horrible, I felt such a feeling of relief and like such a calming down of my brain and my anxiety just making that decision. I mean, that's the place I've been in for longer than I care to say, is just like kind of knowing that this needed to happen, but resisting it, avoiding it for many reasons, and like being stubborn and prideful and idealistic and naive, you know. So yeah, I hope I get a job because that's really a crucial part of this.
Hire her.
But leading up to this, every night I was having to hit the melatonin hard because I would just get flooded with like dread and anxiety about all of this as I was trying to fall asleep every night. And the other word I was thinking was like clarity, very related. And then the pink that kind of wraps around the light blue is hope. And again, it's like mostly for just within my personal life of just feeling like, okay, like if I can fit this puzzle piece in place, then I can like free up so much energy and like brain space for the podcast, for taking care of myself, for my own like creative things that I want to do that I haven't been doing because I've been like, I have to solve this giant problem first.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm not okay. And I have to get to being okay or knowing that I'm going to be okay before I can focus on anything else. Yeah.
Well, I love it.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. And I really like that you did an amalgamation of all three drawings. I didn't do that. And I really like the way that it looks because the emotions, I think, you know, I think it's actually a more representation, like a better representation of how emotions actually work because you could feel a lot of these things at the same time.
Yeah.
Whereas mine are all kind of separated.
I've done it that way too. And sometimes that feels more accurate too.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes they're not as interconnected.
How did it feel to do?
Kind of similar to like writing the poem last time. While I was doing it, I was very like in my head kind of and worried. I was like hot and sweaty. And I was kind of like, I wish I had more time.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just feel like I always worry like, is this going to make sense? Is there anything here? Am I getting too in my head and trying to write what I think I should feel, you know? Because it's I'm not going to lie. It's like very different doing this with knowing that it's going to be listened to by tens of people versus doing versus doing this like at the art table with an 8-year-old who doesn't care about my feelings in a great way, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, I definitely was like starting to overthink.
thinking like what you're gonna say about the thing.
Yeah,
as,
and like,
yeah, I
and
have that too.
even like, which feelings should I choose? That
Yeah.
like, you know, yeah.
Well, fabulous job.
Yeah,
Thank you for
really
interpreting.
good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay.
All right, Liv, your turn.
C'est moi.
Ooh la la. Okay.
Sacré bleu.
Getting really French vibes from this. Okay,
What if I
so
just drawn like
Sorry.
3 different berets?
this French flag.
Sacred blue.
Sacred.
Sacre bleu.
bleu.
I think it means sacred blue.
Might.
Someone explain it to me.
The sky?
I don't speak
No clue.
French. Girl.
I'm having a lot of fun making faces.
Tell us what it is.
Okay. So yeah, I think I've been feeling like very lonely in some ways recently. These are really connected. I think they should have been like together.
The bean and the upper
The
squiggle.
bean, yeah, sorry.
The bean and the robot?
and
The gray squiggly thing.
the squiggle robot arms.
Doing this.
Yeah, I think I've just been feeling. I've been feeling really lonely.
Wait, should we do an activity one time where we do interpretive dances of each other's?
I would love
That's a fun
that.
idea. Okay, so the yeah, it's loneliness. I think I've just been feeling like lonely, like isolated recently.
That's weird.
Sorry, first time I've felt it. Not a fan. Not isolated, but just like I don't know, more withdrawn. I think these are really connected. Like this is like my depression and the arms. It's funny that you say arms because I was like really trying to convey this thing that like my depression is a very grasping thing. I am like trying like that's a little bit what addiction is like when you're like grasping for something to like cover it up. And I also feel like so hopeless everything is. So you're like, yeah, you're grasping for anything. You're like, well, if I just look at Instagram enough, if I know enough about it, maybe that'll fix it. Or if I can do this, like, and it's like, I have this desire to like, to convey to myself and my students, like, there is a basic good in humanity and it feels so hard. Like, I really do believe that is true, but it feels so hard to like, especially when you're around young people all the time who are like seeing this stuff for the first time. It feels it's hard to like kind of try to get them to understand that. So I feel like I'm like grasping at that. And then I'm like grasping at my own stuff, like my own, anytime I feel a negative emotion, I'm like, I don't want to feel it. And like, it's like a lifelong project to just like feel like my emotions regular.
Yep.
Just like not too much, not too little, just like feel my emotions normal. And it's like a lot of the feelings I'm have, like I've been depressed or like I was diagnosed with depression when I was a teenager. It's been a part of my life for a long time. And like a lot of the stuff that I'm grasping for now, even though my depression's the same, like not that bad. God bless, I don't have my suicidal ideations have been like lifted from me, but I'm still like, well, if a boy liked me, I'd be happy. Or maybe I'm also having this thing of like, which these things are really like, I'm having a lot of like kind of OCD thoughts where it's like, I just made all the wrong decisions. I should have gone somewhere else. I should live in New York. I should be dating something different, like been trying something else. It's also the things I was drawing. It's funny, like, when I was drawing them, they were feeling like tree branches, bare tree branches. And when I was in college, I really felt this like love and really deep connection for trees and like tree branches. Like,
are you, Lisa Barlow?
I knew your ass was gonna bring up Lisa Barlow, queen, goddess, lover. Shout out Lisa, come on the pod.
She's a fan of the pod.
She's a fan of my scary drawing I did of her.
She's a fan of that one Instagram post, not a fan of the pod.
Even though it was a really scary
Splitting
picture of her.
hairs.
Anyway, I love you, Lisa Barlow. Nothing you could do could make me hate you. But I agree with the trees. I felt really connected with them, and I felt like when I saw tree branches, like it was like some kind of language. And I had a series of harsh, violent traumas happen to me when I was in my early 20s, and I felt like that attention to the trees, and like I would look at them and I'd be like, I can't really, I lost like some of that language. And for some reason this week I've been like seeing the trees again, like seeing their branches again, which has been really beautiful.
That's healing, brother.
Slay. And then this is like what I have been feeling is like, now I'm kind of like liking that, like the line in the middle, the colorful line in the middle is like really like the mauve. That feels like the truest thing. I've been doing a lot of like outreach in my 12-step program. Like one of the facets of it is like, you're supposed to make outreach calls to your fellows. And I'm pretty weak on that. That was not a big part of my program. And I've really been trying to like up that. And that is such a magical thing. And I feel like the mauve is like, the purplish thing is like, feels really accurate to it because it's like, there's so many things like wrapped up in those kinds of connections. Like the reason that you're connected is like a degree of pain that you felt in your life, but also the fact of the connection is so beautiful. And it's like, do you feel like purple, we were talking about this before, is like marries these like hot and cold.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the orange also feels that way too for some reason. And then, yeah, the pink and blue, I don't know why I chose those colors. They're just like...
I was really stuck on that.
Well,
yeah, very intriguing.
You overthought it. There's nothing to it.
What would you guess? Is there anything you would guess?
I'm just like, these are like the two things. And I mean, it is like pink, blue, like, or similar to purple. And it's
what
like...
do you mean the two things? Like
the
the
two
poles?
like people connecting is kind of what they represent.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so it's like priority.
This is the connection.
Yes.
It's what?
Just like priority and concantatum. And got him.
We're gonna cut all of this, but it's like when Voldemort and Harry, when they connect wands, and it's like
That is also really a deep cut.
Like,
crazy.
one of them's like a good spell, and one of them's like a death spell, and they connect and they make all this foam. In the movies, not in the books. Doesn't matter.
Really cool.
I'm gonna kill myself.
That's how I feel about my outreach calls in my 12-step program. But I do think it is like
Are
pink.
you ashamed?
I'm gonna submit my letter of resignation after this episode.
That was really crazy to hear you reference Harry Potter. I'm
a nerd.
I know, but you're like so like, oh, I don't like this cool thing. Like I felt like you would be like, you wouldn't be into Harry Potter. You know
I
what
love
I mean?
Harry Potter.
Me too. But we
Me
hate
too.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, notorious
fuck
turd.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I think it's like maybe like the it's like, I know that purple comes from red and blue, but this like pink and blue, whatever. But those are some maybe coming together to create these like colors with each other. I don't know. But it does feel like maybe this like line in the middle is dividing these.
Yes.
Like it's
definitely
breaking
get that.
up the sadness, sort of.
The loneliness.
Yeah, the
and
loneliness.
depression.
Well, and it feels like two distinct planes as well.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
interesting
was
what I've done.
thinking-
I'm interesting.
I
Yeah,
don't know what the fuck's going on with you.
I'm like obsessed.
No one can get to the bottom of it.
I love what you said that like depression is like a grasping thing.
Yeah.
It's so true, like so relatable. Depression and anxiety, that it's just like, I need a podcast. I need toast. I need a quesadilla. You know, it's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that'll fix it.
Fill the void.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, side note, once I took a philosophy class and we had to write a paper about whether we thought humankind were innately good or innately evil. And I argued innately good, like starting out good and then get corrupted.
How do you explain Ted Bundy?
And my professor was like,
Wrong.
you are wrong.
That's not
so
something we have a
funny.
definitive answer to.
That's so funny.
He told me I was wrong.
I mean,
Incorrect.
I don't think that's really a. I mean,
That's a funny way to do
think you
philosophy.
should've- Yeah, I think we should
know.
have graded you on how well you argued your point, not whether or not it was objectively right or wrong.
Agree.
That's so weird. Anyway, whoever you were, that was a weird thing to do.
Something I've been thinking about that my dad says a lot, this is only semi-related, but like humanity may be good, but what one human being is capable of, any human being is capable of. And so our ability for cruelty is as true as our ability for goodness. And we cannot hold ourselves like above anybody else in humanity.
Yeah.
I think
we don't know what
that's
we're capable
cool.
of.
However, I also like something that I heard recently, which is a little bit more spiritual and perhaps less concrete, which is that it is much easier to access the evil forces in the world than it is to access the good. And we have to put in more work to access the good because the evil is literally being sold to us. And so it's harder to communicate through benevolence than it is through evil, because evil is kind of the language of the world right now.
It feels like there's so much evil because evil is so much bigger.
And it's more accessible.
Yeah.
It made it really fucking accessible.
But it's also like good a lot of times. Love looks so small.
And
like
it looks small and it takes effort.
Yeah. And we are like separated from it by like the nature of our society more, because like love, I think, is about other people and community, and like that,
which takes work. And
Yes.
we are becoming a society which is trending increasingly exponentially away from putting in effort for anything.
Yes, 100%.
And away from community.
And away from like the texture of community and whatever. But it's also like, it just like evil looks like
Resignation, apathy.
well, also like cruelty, which is so big, whereas love often looks like consistency and like noticing and seeing and honoring,
sacrificing even.
Yeah, and so it can look, especially through the eyes of like a child, like one is much truer and bigger than the other. So it's just stuff I've been thinking about.
Well, I think even today in the context of like what we were doing. So like when we first got together today, we were like, it's January 30th, my mom's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
But also the day that the general strike in Minneapolis is expanding to other cities. And it won't be the first. It will be the first of many. However, we decided to participate today. Luckily, we don't work on Fridays. So that's actually really convenient for us. But we also haven't spent money today. We've really tried not to do that. And on top of that, we are making efforts to move away from corporations that fund ICE and the government that we're living under at the moment. Yeah, so we're trying to move away from using any subscriptions or affiliating ourselves with any corporations that are funding ICE or selling our data to ICE, which is really hard because it's like every fucking company.
It's everything.
And they make it really hard to unsubscribe from stuff.
They make it really hard.
And I'm logged out of a bunch of my accounts, so I'm trying to figure out how to log into my account so I can unsubscribe from them. And also, it's really hard when we have a podcast that's on Spotify, but Spotify is so evil.
I know, it's really evil. So is YouTube. Also, instead of Google, a really cool alternative that I have yet to find anything bad about, but may in the future find something bad about, is Ecosia, which is really cool. It's a browser. And for every, I don't know.
They plant trees.
They plant trees, I guess, every time you search something.
I don't think every time. I think when there's like a certain
I'm
thousands
also
or
like,
whatever.
who does that? Like, where are the trees being planted? Who's doing the planting? Like,
Indentured servants.
is there's like literally like in Israel, someone's put indentured servants
in
are
Animal
planting.
Crossing.
Yeah.
It's like they get a ping every time someone researches something, and they put like a
Anyway.
seed in the ground.
The point is that it's really hard to live ethically in this world. But I think if we can all try to do a little bit every single day to move away from our dependency on these billionaires, at least just go to their competition. Even if the competition isn't ethically great, just go to the competition is better than nothing.
Yeah, I think it's also like kind of a harm reduction thing. Like, yes, we're still like, what is so evil about our society is that it forces us to not live by our values. One of the many things that's evil. But it's like we can do a little bit of harm reduction. Like, I don't know, get on effing Tidal instead of Spotify, or like delete some of your accounts or share your accounts.
Yeah, you can't be perfect at it. It's really freaking hard.
But it's like a little bit.
It's
is
okay
better
to do
than
one
nothing.
thing at a time and like figure it out over time. We also called our representatives before
did.
recording using 5 calls, which makes it really easy.
And also, it's like this we were talking about community. It's like there are mutual aid network. I mean, if you're in a big city, like we're in LA, there are mutual aid networks for almost a lot of the neighborhoods. You can join, like do that. There's a lot of different ways you can get involved, and that will also make your life better, because it's like, it almost always makes people feel better to think about things that are bigger than themselves.
Yeah.
And so we're going to try to do more of that. And
I think it's really important to honor that, like, canceling these subscriptions, figuring out alternatives to things that are making our lives generally easier and more convenient. It's not fun. This doesn't feel good. This feels like a massive inconvenience. And it also, like, I'm a TV person. I canceled all of my TV subscriptions today. I don't know if I'm going to be okay, to be honest, but I feel confident that that was the right thing to do. And I also think that when we use our wallets, which is really our only power in late stage capitalism, to send a message, then it opens up spaces for independent companies and decentralized companies to come forward and take the stage.
yeah, my favorite thing in the world, period, is Real Housewives. Like, I'm really struggling with giving up Peacock. I love Real Housewives so much. It brings me so much joy. I'm really, really struggling to give it up. But even if we share accounts, it's better than having, like, I don't know, it's fewer accounts out in the world.
Yeah, so true.
True.
I'm saying to make myself feel better.
No, but really, like there's no standard for this, but I think if everybody can just do what they can, then that's going to make a huge difference.
And, like, strangers not getting kidnapped is more important than me watching Real Housewives.
Yep. True.
But I love them.
Okay. So do you guys want to see my drawing?
No.
Yes.
Yes. Just kidding. Pranked.
So, this for me,
The black one.
blob, is dread. Dread for me has always been a very prominent emotion, and I do actually, I've done a lot of somatic therapy, and I've done somatic work to, like, put colors and textures and all kinds of things to the things that I'm feeling in my body. And so this is a character that's actually been with me for a while. And to me, what dread feels like is like a blob of tar that kind of ekes around, and everything that it touches, it spreads itself on, and I can't get rid of it. It is incredibly hard to clean up or get off of me once it has spread. And so that's kind of like the droplets coming off of it. Of its contagion.
It's getting on stuff.
Yeah, it's getting on stuff, and I can't really get it out. And then this one, to me, it's restlessness. There's so much frenetic energy happening in here, and it doesn't feel flowy. It feels sharp. It feels like it's hurtful to me. Like I have to do something, or else I'm gonna go crazy, or like and I've been feeling a lot of this emotion in the last week. I feel like I get super restless when I feel powerless. And I have felt a good degree of powerlessness in my life this week, because I've been trying to figure out, like, how can I change things, like on a personal level? Like, what can I do? What's my personal responsibility to our country and our world and our communities? And I think that, part of what capitalism does is it puts the responsibility on the individual to change things rather than on themselves, on the corporations, on the things that have the most power in our society. And I think I feel that weight a lot. And sometimes that feels to me like, it feels like such physical anxiety, because I'm just like, I have so much responsibility. I have so much responsibility to myself and to healing myself. I have so much responsibility to my community. I have so much responsibility to the world. I have so much responsibility to the people that I love. And it creates such a physical anxiety that I feel like I'm going to jump out of my skin or rip my hair out, or like it's so palpable to me. And then this last one, I think, is, to me, more so like interconnectedness and hope. And I think like that starts with gratitude, and gratitude can really start as one thing. And then it branches out and you find more and more things that are beautiful and that you have to be grateful for in the world. And when you plant the seed, it really does grow, but you have to plant the seed and you have to protect the seed, because it's so easy to like get into this state of complete helplessness and hopelessness and just like nothing's good and nothing's ever going to be good. But it's kind of like what we were talking about in our previous episode of just like you have to find gratitude, you have to find hope, and you have to imagine a better world and a better life for yourself. It's our responsibility to do that. And when you can do that, when you find the right head and heart space to do that, it grows. It's contagious. It flourishes almost in the same way that dread does.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Bella.
The pink purple, it does look very organic, like something that is growing and alive.
Yeah. And it's the sweetness of gratitude too. Mm-hmm. Gratitude is too what's one of those things where it's like it's small. It's a small act of love that must be like done over and over and over and over.
Totally. Like sitting on my balcony, it can really start with something as little as like, wow, the way that the light is hitting this hill is so beautiful. And I'm really glad I get to witness that. Or like, I feel really grateful for the fact that I walked into a place today and someone held the door for me and said, good morning. You know, like just really small things. But just like dread can attach to something really small and then grow exponentially. I think gratitude does the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
Hard agree.
Great. How did it feel to do?
Yeah.
It honestly felt pretty good. I mean, to be fair, I have been doing this with my students all week. I did purposefully choose different emotions so that I could represent something that I hadn't done this week. I will say one interesting difference to note is that I feel like with my students, I was consciously trying to represent more positive emotions to model that for them. And today I felt like it was really important to embody my dread and my rage and my restlessness and all of the negative things. So it's really fascinating. It seems so simple, and honestly, it seems silly and it seems limiting or like whatever you want to call it, but it's really profound. These are not the best things I've ever drawn in my entire life, but I really like them because they represent something that's really true about me.
Yeah. And they represent, like, the reason we were all able to understand it is because they represent, to a degree, like, universal truths.
Right. Something that's really true about humans.
And I think that will bring us into looking at your guys' drawings. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Oh, my God. I just knocked my contact askew. Thank you, guys. We got so many amazing submissions of gorgeous pictures of your guys' emotions. I do want to say it's like, there's something that does feel a little like universal about almost all of these. Like maybe it was like the material used or like also the scope of the emotions. Like I think like we had a lot of people talk about like the state of the world. Like
a lot of anger, a lot of rage.
Yeah. I really like my friend Naomi submitted some beautiful doodles. All of these will also be available to look at somewhere, even maybe in this video that you're watching. But I really like Naomi. She did like, they were very square, like rectangular.
I was going to comment on the same thing. And what did she say about them? It was something that like represented the corporate structure.
She said, middle section is frustration at the state of humanity and how far it feels we are from a good time and how much greed seems to be winning, etc. Kind of banging down on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, it kind of looked like, after I read what she wrote about it, it kind of looked like Suits. in a
Yeah,
way.
totally.
Suits and
I have the same thought.
buildings too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she lives in Washington D. Or she lives outside of Washington D.C. And so I think she's like, she's it's like on her ass.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I think like if we were going to focus on one that feels somatically so poignant to me, I think her representation of joy
Yeah.
is completely beautiful.
I know. I love it.
Yeah.
And I was just reading, she said that's her least favorite.
No, girl,
One.
you rocked it.
She
Love
said
it.
she's the least satisfied with it. But
I
I think
love
it's
it.
so beautiful and it is so happy.
The
Yeah.
use of color and shape and form, I think, is so wonderful, and I love how spread out the feeling is, and it feels like what joy feels like, which is that it's expansive.
Yeah, and actually what she says about it is, I'm feeling lots of love in my life right now, as well as hope for the future because you simply must.
Yes,
Which is like exactly what we were talking about.
the moral obligation for hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out her. And also like, I don't know, Tammy also talked about the state of the world.
So
Yeah,
did Gabe.
Yeah. So, well, Tammy's I thought was really interesting because it was kind of one of the ones that it really interspersed the emotions.
Yeah. Like they're all kind of connected and interacting with each other in interesting ways.
There are these big waves. They're also kind of she talks about like having a connection with like nature and water. It's interesting to think about like where we see our feelings represented in nature. Like I feel like that's actually a really big human theme, like rage with fire, which is also kind of like Gabe has a picture of rage, and it's like, well, Gabe has all these little creatures, and his rage one is like very like kind of fiery.
Well, and it
angry.
looks kind of like a demon.
Yeah.
I will say that I think what's cool is a through line between those two, between Gabe's and Tammy's, is that we're representing anxiety as a swirl. Mm-hmm. And I personally really relate to that because my anxiety is such a spiral, and it's a spiral of like catastrophizing, of just like, I have this thought and then it's going to lead to this other negative thought and it's going to lead to another negative thought. And then before I know it, I'm just like so deep into this pit of like despair. I'm feeling pretty generally shitty about everything that's going on, that it feels hard to get out of it. But what I loved about Tammy's was that there's kind of this like water through line, this blue through line that's not really even representative of like a specific emotion. It's just holding all of the emotions at once, which is what we were talking about before,
I
which
wanna
is like
read hers.
the connectedness of emotions and how feeling all of these things at the same time and recognizing how they relate and play off of one another is really just kind of part of being a human.
Yeah. Do you want to read her?
Yeah, can I read it? She said, I chose to illustrate these three emotions: anxiety, connectedness, and compassion. The green swirls represent my anxiety. They move like waves and encroach from every direction. The compassion I illustrated stems from the strong emotions I've been experiencing this week about those who are suffering. That's why I chose to draw a blood red teardrop. My mind then naturally gravitated towards drawing water, blue lines connecting all my shapes together. This is the connectedness I feel between these tensioning elements and emotions that make me whole. And it is such like a snapshot of like someone's emotional state.
Well, that's so cool too, because you only had 5 minutes, and then even then in that 5 minutes, your brain automatically knows that like what connects us all, I mean, is water, right? 70% of our body mass is made up of water, but then also like what connects land mass to land mass is water. Mm-hmm. It is the thing that represents connectedness.
I also, something that I like, I don't know. I liked a couple people, Callie and Gabe both represented their feelings as like little demon creatures.
I love them.
Yeah.
which I love and feels like, I don't know, there's this element, we all talked, like a lot of people talked about it, like this element of like childishness
to this exercise.
that it evoked in you.
And I do have to say, one of my students this week that did this exercise also represented their emotions in little demons.
Oh, really?
I love it. That'd be a fun activity on its own. Just like make a little creature of your feelings.
And I think it's so interesting too that like some of us really think about this in terms of like it's super abstract qualities like colors, textures, shapes, form, whatever. And then some of us are just like, this feels very black and white in the way that like this thing is evil and this thing is benevolent, or this thing is calm and this thing is chaotic.
Yeah, so interesting. I don't think it would have occurred to me in a long time to like make little creatures.
Yeah, me neither.
But I wonder if like those people are maybe like more prone to like narrative or like
narrative, or is it black and white thinking? I don't know what it is, but it's really interesting.
And I also felt like, I don't know, doing the little, like, I feel like what I was seeing in so many people's things was this like childlike element.
Yeah.
And yeah, I when I was drawing, like, I don't know, my little circle, that's the one that felt
your
the
bean,
most like a creature, like my little bean. And I love little creatures. Like, I have all these tattoos that to me are like all like my little creature friends. And so it's funny that I like don't think about my emotions that way because like I creaturify a lot of things. But when I was doing the circle, that I was just, for a long time, I was just doing a little tight circle of loneliness. And that felt so, there was like a few seconds there where I was like, oh, this feels like me when I was a little kid, like this lonely feeling of like, because I felt so lonely as a child often. And like it like that little lonely feeling. And then it comes up when you're like an adult. And then a lot of the feelings that like they were representing, like Callie was like doing like embarrassment. And she had this like little embarrassed, like, it's like this little creature wearing a little crown and
it's
like
blushing.
I love it.
Yeah. Excitement, embarrassment, overwhelm. And it's like a little creature wearing a crown holding coffee and there's like money. And it's like, that's such like a, I don't know, it's like a little kid thing. It's like a kid drawing of what an adult is, like literally. Like I there's so much going on and I'm trying to drink coffee and I'm trying to make money because I'm a grown up. And it's like, it is like, and that's also how it feels all the time where I'm like, I'm playing. Yeah.
I like,
and I'm, by the way, not doing, like, I'm barely hitting my marks.
And barely drinking coffee.
Well, yeah, I'm drinking Red Bull. I'm drinking a pink Red Bull every day.
It communicates so much, that little image. It's like so evocative. I'm just like, yup, I get it.
Yeah, and it's like, our emotions are these things that have been with us since our childhood. And it's like one of these things that we carry into our adulthood. And like, they're just, a lot of times they stay the same. Like, the way that you feel sad when you're an adult is the way that you felt sad when you were a kid. And like,
that's interesting.
And I think of the way that we check in with each other, kind of like what we were talking about in the last episode, is that there's this interpersonal jargon that we use, which is like, how are you? Good. How are you? Oh, I'm doing well, thank you. And it's like there's no authenticity in that. And when we consistently deny and mask our emotions, that really leads to us losing touch with them ourselves and not even really knowing how we're feeling at the end of a day, where we're just like, I said I was fine. I've been saying I'm fine for weeks, so I guess I must be fine. But then really there's like, I'm not fine. You know?
So true. And
no, and I just think that like this is such a beautiful exercise because yes, it puts us back in the headspace of like being a child, but in a way we kind of need to infantilize ourselves like that because we've lost the language to be able to communicate how we're feeling and put images, shapes, colors, anything, form to what those feelings feel like.
Yeah, I was just thinking about like last episode we were talking about like wordless communication and like some of these people didn't actually say the feelings that they were feeling, but like I feel like I can look at Ava's, I always love Ava's art.
Yeah.
And like I can't figure it all out exactly, of course, but I feel like there's something like beautiful and magical happening.
Yeah, same with Gailey's. It's like Gailey was like, I asked her what emotions she was feeling, and she was like, they don't specifically have names. They're just like these were just like the things that I
came
was
out.
like feeling, which I think is so interesting too. Like, yeah, sometimes emotions like don't necessarily have names. Also, what you were saying, I was thinking about like every lunch, Kaylin and I work together, so we spend every lunch period together, and it's always like we start out being like, "How are you?" And we're like, "Fine."
And then we get into it.
And then we're like,
once the cigarettes are lit,
then we have to drive
get
around.
into it.
Yeah. And then we're like, okay, so I'm actually like feeling bad and weird for this reason, and I had this dream, and like, and it is funny because it's like that's not how, I don't know, you do it as a kid, but then also I feel like when I was a kid, you don't like know your emotions. Like, I don't know, sometimes as an adult now, I feel so much like more like a kid, because like when I was younger, I feel like my predominant emotion was like, what I remember was kind of like, yeah, this like insular sort of thing, like loneliness maybe, and now it's like I feel freer to be like happy when I'm happy or whatever.
That's so
Does that make
interesting
sense?
because I actually feel like maybe I feel the opposite, whereas like when it was me and my best friend Judy in my car at the end of the day, it was like, how are you? And there was no pleasantries. It was just like, well, my boyfriend's fucking cheating on me. And by the way, this teacher that we both have is hot. Let's talk about that. I had dreams about him. And I'm
never had a
failing
hot teacher.
algebra, so that sucks. And my mom hates me. So it was like,
Yeah.
you know, like we really like laid it all out on the table.
But that's teenagehood versus childhood.
Yes, true.
Like,
True.
Because I do feel like when you're a teenager, I don't know, I was going to say when I feel like you're a teenager, sometimes you're a bleeding heart, but sometimes with our students, I'm like, some of them are like bleeding hearts. I'm like, I know.
Yes.
I see you for one fucking millisecond. I know how class is going to go. I know how you're going to feel.
But
like,
then I have other students, like for example, this week, I think was hard because I was feeling like I was going through a hard time, and then I was encountering students who were going through a hard time, and because we work with a lot of kids who have behavioral differences and neurodivergencies, particularly a lot of kids that have autism, I was just kind of like, you don't know how to talk about your feelings, and that for me this week is so frustrating because you are projecting and you're taking things out on me and the other people around you rather than just being like, I'm sad.
yeah.
I'm pissed.
Well, there
You
are
know?
there are external processors and there are internal processors, and like in kid therapy, the internal processors are really prone to like somatic stuff. Like instead of talking about their feelings, they'll just be like, I have a stomach ache.
Yes,
you know?
I was totally that kid.
Yeah. And then there's the external ones who are like kind of make it everyone else's problem.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny too, like my friend Patty did this, and he was like, I don't really consciously check in with my feelings. And Patty's not, he doesn't.
Oh yeah.
Classic men.
Yeah. But also like same.
I know,
Like,
classic people.
He was
Yeah.
like, you don't often sit down and like take an inventory of your feelings, and like, yeah. I mean, if
Yeah.
I'm doing my pages, I'll do that, but a lot of times I avoid it.
I'm
Yeah.
every second of every day taking an inventory of
I
my
know,
feelings.
me too, girl.
But it's like, also it's funny because it's like, I don't know, we had two men who submitted who are my only two male friends basically. And it was just interesting. I was like excited to have male contributions about emotions because like one of the male contributions, like it was all pencil drawing, and it was very like, he talked a lot about the feeling of doing the lines and
The
how
movement
the
of the
lines
lines.
looked. And I thought that was really interesting. I was thinking about it like while I was doing mine.
Me
like,
too. I thought of Patty's because I was like, oh, I need to move how this emotion feels. Like
Yeah.
move the crayon in that way.
Yeah.
Well, I think that connects to something that's really true about this activity, which is that you kind of let your body take the lead over the brain, and what kind of movements, what kind of colors, what kind of textures do you associate with the thing that you're trying to communicate, rather than like, how can I articulate this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Oh, go ahead.
which is it's synesthesia. Like I love that, thinking like, okay, well, what color was how I felt on the couch the other morning when I was like blasting myself with the news in the morning.
And then how does it feel to enact that? Like,
Yeah.
what is the motion of that
Right,
feeling
right,
too?
yeah.
You know, like the little motion. Okay. So, yeah. Thank you so much to everybody who submitted.
Yes,
I feel
thank
like
you.
That was like a fun
we shout?
Wild conversation. Yeah. So thank you specifically to the people who submitted, who are named as follows: Gailey, Tammy, Ava, Callie, Gabe, Patty, Naomi. Did I say Callie?
Mm-hmm. And
Paris
Newhall.
Newhall.
A very special.
A mysterious listener. Okay, so now we're going to introduce the new activity, which is, I guess we're calling it body talk. Yeah. Let me hear your body talk. Anyway, let's get physical. But this exercise, which we just named body talk, is an idea that I got from my therapist, Ariane McBean. So thank you, Ariane. Shout out. So what you're going to do is this. You will set a timer for 3 to 5 minutes. What you're going to do during this time is try to achieve continuous movement and at the same time, continuous stream of consciousness talk, out loud talk. This is again completely up to you. We're trying to provide some scaffolding if you're just like, I have no idea what the fuck this means or how to approach this. But if you're like, whatever, I'm gonna set the timer, I'm gonna move, I'm gonna talk. Great, do whatever comes out. And it's interesting to see kind of like what thoughts and feelings and observations come up as your body is consistently moving for 3 to 5 minutes.
So you're saying you could kind of like wait till you notice a sensation in your body that's like, oh, I think I need to like stretch my arm or something.
Exactly. So you could even be like, if it feels okay for you, if you're just kind of like, I really don't know what to do with this, you can stand completely still until you feel a sensation in your body that's compelling you to movement. Like, oh, my arm itches, let me scratch that. Or like, my neck hurts, let me press on that. Or I'm cold, let me grab myself, you know? You can let the sensations guide you. Alternatively, you know, what do we say while we're doing this exercise? Yeah. Some ideas might be like tap into your 5 senses. You can talk about what you are hearing, seeing, tasting, smelling, whatever is going on in your immediate environment are great things to talk about. Also, the sensations that you're feeling in the body are really good things to talk about. Another cool thing that you could do is ask a question at the beginning of the 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, and then see if you arrive at an answer by the end of it. You might not, but it's worth a shot. Yeah. What else?
Or whatever you want.
Or whatever the fuck you want.
Those are all, I know you just said that, but want to reiterate, those are all just suggestions. Just move and talk.
I think this is
the baseline.
Really open to interpretation. You can use it as a little experiment. And we are hoping that people will record a voice note on their phone for this or something like that. I'd say, of course, it's optional. If you absolutely don't want to do that, don't do that.
Strongly encouraged just to even have for yourself.
Even just for you. Yeah. We really want to say for this exercise, but also all exercises, you can tell us how it went for you without sharing the thing that you made. And that is always welcome. And like, we're so excited to receive just that.
And we want to emphasize, even if the experience was negative, we want to hear about that.
Yeah.
If this was like, this felt dumb and I hated it and I hated the way my body was moving and I hated the words coming out of my mouth, please tell us.
Or like, I would have done that totally differently. Whether it's a drawing or a poem, whatever, down the line, you never have to share the thing with us that you make. Because for perfectionists and stuff, that can like make it so you stop before you begin even.
But we'd love if you would share your experience.
Yeah, even just say like, I hate what I drew.
Yeah.
The end, you know?
Totally.
Yeah. That's what I think. Please do it. Where can they submit it?
So the best place to find out how to submit things is on our Patreon. There's a post pinned to the top of that explains everything, but basically you can email it to us, you can text it to us, you can leave us a voice note about it, or you can post on the assignment post on Patreon and just leave a comment, or you can submit through a Google form. That's a lot of options.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, if you have any alternatives for things we can use besides Gmail and Google Forms and YouTube and Spotify, please let girls know,
Yeah.
okay? We're really trying to find
Please
alternatives.
let girls know.
Please let girls
know.
know. Tell any girls in your life.
It doesn't have to be these girls.
Just let some girls know.
Speaking of which, we have been like trying to, we have an Instagram, we have a YouTube, we had a TikTok,
We deleted it.
We are realizing like everything is evil. So today we literally made a Blue Sky account. So
And
we'll
a
see you there.
Mastodon account,
We're gonna be
whatever that is.
skeeting on Blue Sky.
And we're gonna be
masturbating on Mastodon.
And then we're also thinking like maybe we'll just stop using social media completely and just send out like a physical bulletin.
and then move to the woods.
I didn't know we were
all-
thinking of that. I knew that we were thinking of physical bulletin.
Yeah.
I
Do
didn't
you know
we
we're
were
moving to the woods?
No, I knew about that. I just didn't know about not using social media.
Well, we're thinking
But I
about
would
it.
love to not use it because I struggle.
So send us all of your addresses. And yeah, anything else
that's
to
about
say?
damn
That's
it.
We're
Fuck
done
ice.
here. Fuck ice.
Fuck ice. Free
We're gonna-
Palestine. Go
Viva
birds.
revolution.
Make some food right now instead of ordering takeout.
And we're gonna talk, I guess, instead of watch things on TV.
We're gonna stare at the wall.
I really don't want to talk anymore.
Well, sorry, we're gonna do it.
We're gonna read together separately.
We're gonna play bananagrams.
no. Fucking hate that game. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Fuck ice. Free Palestine. Go birds. Love
Love
you.
you.
Superstars.
Yay! Woo!